Hi everybody, Shortbox Full, Mark here. How you doing out there? Everyone okay? Yeah, you all alright? You sure? Good. Good, glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Right, this video, it's going to be all about the DC relaunch, reboot, whatever you want to call it, of their universe with the DC Rebirth. Alright? You know, I am a big DC fan. I have been a big DC fan since I first picked up, I think it was The Flash number 281, years and years ago when I found it. If you've never heard of the story about me finding a copy of The Flash number 281 or 282, one of those two issues anyway. If you haven't heard the story of how I found the copy of The Flash, that just started my whole love of DC Comics, it's going to be somewhere on my videos in my whole collection of videos in the past, so just have a look and it'll come up, honestly. But yeah, I have been a big DC fan since I was about 6 years old, I think. It might not seem like it in recent years, because as far as I'm concerned, I like Rick and Morty, because DC's been shit, Morty. It's been shit. Okay, Rick. Yeah, no, sorry. Yes, personally, I think New 52. Oh, you know my feelings on the New 52. It's been garbage, amazingly. It's been the worst 5 years of DC's history, as far as I'm concerned. Even worse than the DC implosion that they had in the sort of like the late 70s, early 80s, when they had to cancel loads of comics because they just had too many on the shelves and it wasn't working out for them. So yeah, my whole feelings on the New 52 is that there was probably, out of all the comics that DC have produced in the last 5 years, there is probably only 10 comics that actually been worth picking up, and they were cancelled relatively soon after they were first started. So I thought, I'm not going to do the new issues of Rebirth or the renumberings of comics like Action Comics and Detective Comics. This is purely for the Rebirth comics that have come out recently, from DC Universe Rebirth number 1 right up to the one that came out this week, which was Justice League number 1. Rebirth, obviously. So here we are here. Now, I've got them in order, or relative order of how I feel the comics have actually impressed me, if you will. Yeah. So first of all, I think I've got to say the most impressive comic I have read from DC in possibly the last 5 years has been the DC Universe Rebirth comic. There you go. This is possibly one of the best comics I've read from DC Comics in 5 years. That shows you how bad I think DC have been in the last 5 years. I'm just going to have to sort this out because the sun's streaming through my window here, as it was in the last video. There we go. Right, so yeah. So this has just been absolute breath of fresh air for me as a DC fan. What can I say? I know it's still in DC's New 52 continuity, but the fact that they've brought, I don't need to say spoilers for this, the fact they've brought Wally West back, the fact that they're trying to bring back the things that made DC good before the New 52 started into the crappy New 52 continuity universe, it just shows you, hopefully, how DC are trying to think for the fans rather than think for themselves. Because let's face it, Didio and Lee don't know how to run a comic book company. In my own personal opinion, I mean, this is just a great. Every time I turned the page, it felt like I was reading DC Comics before Flashpoint. It really did. Back then, every time I turned a page in DC Comics, I wanted to read that page, and I wanted to turn the page to read the next page. They got me hooked with every single page that they produced in each comic they made. That didn't happen with New 52. This was just an absolute... If this was a book, you'd call it a page turner. Simple as that. Absolutely brilliant. Fantastic comic. Shows you how good it was. This is the midnight variant cover, yeah, for everybody who was at the midnight showing. Luckily enough, I've got some very good friends at Forbidden Planet in Southampton, who are excellent people at that store, and they put this by for us because I wasn't able to get to the Southampton at midnight. So yeah, so that I've got this, but also I also picked up the third print of it as well. I'm looking to possibly get the second print and probably the normal cover of the first printing of DC Rebirth. Sorry. So yeah, so that shows you how much I enjoyed this comic. I've always said, if there is a comic book that has got various covers to the comic, it shows you how much I enjoyed it by the amount of covers that I pick up from that comic. And there you go. There's Wally West on the front of that one. There you go. And it's the ginger Wally West as well. DC Comics are finally starting to show that they're not gingerists. They don't hate ginger people like they've tried to show in the last 5 years, and this is awesome. I will say, if you've seen me on Facebook, and I don't know if I've ever said this on a video or anything like that, but it is slightly a little bit like how I envisioned it would be. You'd have Wally West going to the New 52 universe and saying, finding Barry Allen and trying to bring him back to the proper DC universe. But yeah, this is just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed it, really enjoyed it. Now, next up, this was great, absolutely brilliant Green Arrow comic. I haven't read a Green Arrow comic. I mean, I know you had Jeff Lemire's run that everybody was like, wow, Jeff Lemire, man, yeah, he's great. And yes, Jeff Lemire is a great writer, he's a brilliant writer. But I never really liked Green Arrow in the New 52 universe. It was very meh, quite frankly, to me. But this was brilliant. I thought this was absolutely a fantastic read. Green Arrow Rebirth #1. Yeah, it was really great. The whole story was just felt like a Green Arrow story. It didn't feel like they were trying to put Batman in a Green Arrow outfit, sort of thing, and trying. Yeah, it just actually felt like a Green Arrow story. Awesome. No. Next up, this one. This has got to be the next best thing I've read from DC Comics in a long time. The Flash Rebirth #1. There you go. I've got the normal cover and the regular and the variant cover as well. This was so great, absolutely so great. You know my feelings on Manifold and the other idiots run on the Flash, and also is it? I can't remember his name. The other bloke that wrote Flash as well. The last 52 issues of Flash have just been garbage, as far as I'm concerned. Absolute garbage. There's not a single issue of the Flash in the last 52 issues that I have read that actually made me even like the character, let alone want to read any of the comics that he was in. But this is just brilliant. This was absolutely brilliant. It actually felt like Barry Allen was back. Felt like, again, spoilers if you really need it, felt like as soon as Barry Allen touched Wally West's hand and brought him into the New 52 universe that they're unfortunately trapped in at the moment, it felt like the old Barry Allen came back, and it actually feels like the person who's writing this actually understands the character more than the two previous writers did, who understood the character not a bit. Yeah, it was just absolutely awesome stuff. And next up, Titans Rebirth. Wally West as the Flash just brought me back to how DC used to be. Really was. And every time he touched one of the Titans, Dick Grayson, Donna, Troy, and everyone else from the Titans group, their memories started flooding back. Now, their memories aren't exactly as they were before Flashpoint. I don't know whether they're going to pick up on that, because there does seem to be some kind of skewed sort of like reality and continuity in this book for what was actually happening in the Titans books before the New 52 and Flashpoint took hold. But yeah, this was great. Absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed this comic. It's great to see the proper Wally West, Ginger Wally West back. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Titans comic coming out with Wally West and the proper Titans as well. The only thing I will say about this that I'm really disappointed is that they didn't have Cyborg in it. That would have been perfect. I know this isn't the new Titans. This is the original Teen Titans with Aqualad, Wonder Girl, Robin, and Speedy, you know, and Kid Flash. I know this is the original ones. I would have liked to have seen. I'm hoping that at some point they're going to do something where you'll see Cyborg with the new Teen Titans like Raven, Starfire, Beast Boy, Cyborg, Wally West, you know, and all the other ones as well that was in the new Titans. But yeah, this is awesome. This really, really was. I'm so excited with DC at the moment. I really am, and it's brilliant. I'm so happy that DC are starting to actually write comics again, and I'm going to put the exposure back up again because the sun's gone back in again. There you go. Hello. Right. Next up, Superman. One of the best things DC Comics have done for this character was to kill off the New 52 Superman. Seriously. There you go. There's both covers, regular and the variants as well. One of the best things they've done for this character was to kill off the New 52 Superman. He was such an arseache. He really was to read. They made him such an unlikable, I would even say despicable character in the comic books, for my own personal opinion on that sort of thing. And it's great to see that DC Comics have finally brought the New 52 Superman into the New 52 universe. And I really enjoyed the Superman Lois and Clark series that they had, and I'm really enjoying this. I'm also enjoying Action Comics as well, and I will say, I will admit it, I have no problems with admitting it. When the New 52 Superman died at the end of, was it Superman number 52? When he died, I will admit I cheered. I done a little raised fist and I went, yes, they killed the fucker. Yeah, so yeah, that's how much I hated the New 52 Superman. I hope that they do that with the Henry Cavill Superman in the movies and they get a brand new actor in to play Superman. That would be awesome because, yeah, it'd be just great. But unfortunately, I don't think they will do. So yeah, Superman, the proper Superman, not some half-assed emo hipster Superman coming in. The proper Superman from the pre-52 coming in. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant. Now, I don't know how this happened, but somehow I managed to pick up 2 copies of Wonder Woman, the variant cover of Wonder Woman Rebirth. Again, this was just brilliant. Absolutely brilliantly written. I absolutely hated the original run of New 52 Wonder Woman. I thought it was crap. Okay, I know it got, you know, everyone was going, oh no, it's great, it's brilliant, I know you got to like it. No, you don't have to like it. It was garbage. Okay, absolute utter garbage. And I don't think they've actually had somebody in who was willing to write Wonder Woman as she should be written. And this was just brilliant. I'm hoping, after reading this, I really am hoping that they're going to do away with totally the arse of the origin of the New 52 Wonder Woman, because that was so moronic. It really was. Yeah, I enjoyed Rucker's run on Wonder Woman when he did it originally years and years ago. Was it 2003, 2004, I think it was? I really enjoyed Rucker's run. It was a pity that they had to cut it short, because I think he would have been able to do a lot more, but this was just brilliant. I'm really looking forward to reading Wonder Woman again. Greg Rucka on Wonder Woman is just awesome stuff. Yeah, really enjoying that. Now, the last 4 comics I'm going to show you today on this video are probably my least favourite comics. Let's put it like that. Yeah. yeah, this is probably the least favourite of the Rebirth comics that I have read so far. First up, the newest Rebirth comic that's just come out, Justice League Rebirth #1. I've just read this one. Sorry, I've just read this one about 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, and I've got to say it was very meh, very, very, very middle of the road, very for something that was supposed to. Sorry, that's one of the ferrets falling out of the hammock. You alright, buddy boy? He's all right. For something that was supposed to be bringing the pre-New 52 Superman into the Justice League, and introducing him to the team properly, it felt very, very stunted. Like, it was like, well, we really should be bringing him in, but do we want to bring the pre-New 52 Superman into the universe, into the team? You know, I don't know. There's just felt something very, very middle of the road about this comic. Very, very much so. I'm hoping that issue 1 of this is going to be better. I still don't think Cyborg is being used to his full capabilities in this, like he was in the New Teen Titans and other Titan comics. I still feel that Cyborg is just a mouthpiece for the rest of the, it's just somebody there just to sort of like hurry along the plot, and it really annoys me, because Cyborg is such a brilliant character, and they haven't used him to his full potential at all anywhere in the DC universe in the last 5 years. Ever since they put him in the Justice League and made him a founding member of the Justice League, they just haven't used him right. And it's like, you've got this great character of Cyborg and you're not using him. It's like he's like sat there like a tin man doing nothing apart from exposition. And it's really annoying, really is. They even did it with his own comic, that Cyborg comic that they brought out. It wasn't that good. It shouldn't have been that bad. It should have been an amazing comic, because Cyborg is a fantastic character. But yeah, this hopefully it'll be better with the rest of them. Next up, I've got 2 copies of these. I've got the regular cover and I've got that cover. Batman. Yeah, no. I really didn't like this issue. I really, really don't like this issue. I know it's a crossover comic from Snyder and King, and I have to say it really does feel like there are 2 writers writing on this comic, and I've got to say Snyder does seem to be the weakest of the 2. Having read Batman #1 and also Detective Comics, Snyder's not on either of them, and I have to say this is probably the weakest comic I've read from DC Comics in this last couple of months. With the Rebirth and that, it really was pretty bad. I could hear people going, "Oh, but Scott Snyder, he's God in comics," and no, he's a good writer. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed his Dark Mirror and that from when he wrote for Detective Comics, but he can't finish a story. You saw that in the miniseries that he did for DC Vertigo, The Wake. The only comic that I've read that Scott Snyder actually finished the comic properly was Witches for Image Comics. The one he did with Jock, with Jock's artwork. That's the only comic that Scott Snyder's wrote that I actually enjoyed, and that he actually had a proper ending to it. I'm really looking forward to the second series of Witches. Hopefully there's going to be one. But yeah, him on Batman. Seriously, Snyder's Batman, other than Dark Mirror, has just been, for me anyway. I know, I can hear you all sit there going, but you've got to like Scott Snyder. He's great. He's brilliant. No, you don't. So yeah, very poor issue. Luckily enough, like I said, I have read Batman #1 and Detective Comics 935, because I missed out on the 934. Both of them brilliant comics, absolutely brilliant. This one, meh. Next up, Green Lantern #1. It's just introduction of two, well, introduction of one Green Lantern character that basically failed and nobody liked, from what I could tell, and an introduction of a new Green Lantern character who obviously is still try and find her feet in that. Yeah, this does seem like, this whole comic did to me feel like DC Comics was sitting there going, we've got this Green Lantern called Baz, you know, we need people to like him. We've created him, we've got to use him. Let's stick him in this comic. I would have been much happier to see her in this comic rather than her and him. It's as simple as that. Does this comic need two Green Lanterns? No, I don't think it does. Would it have done a lot better with just her as Green Lantern rather than him? Yes, it would have done. Why? Because this character just isn't likable. It's as simple as that. I read the character in... it's not even the character, it's just the way he's written. And it's just not a likable character as far as I'm concerned. I could quite happy, if they had a whole series with... Well, they did have a whole series with him as Green Lantern, and it tanked. That tells you something, you know. So yes, give her the Green Lantern comic, not him. Her, not him. Simple as that. Alright, it might be a bit more interesting. Finally for this video, because it's going on for way longer than I was hoping to do, Aquaman Rebirth #1. Yeah, I really didn't enjoy this. It really was a bad comic. I just can't put my finger on why I didn't like it. It's just one of those comics where you read it and you finish it in the end and you think, I'm really glad I finished that comic because I don't have to read it again now. It was that sort of comic. To put a nice spin on it, I'm glad to see they got rid of that stupid collar that Jim Lee put on all the characters since the New 52 started. I don't understand what Jim Lee has about collars. He must have some kind of weird collar fetish. Is the only thing I can think of. I really am... the best thing about this is the new design for Aquaman, basically. That's just it. The rest of the comic was pretty... I was just glad to finish it, quite frankly. So there you go. That's my thoughts on DC Rebirth so far. On a whole, very excited for DC Rebirth. It actually feels like DC are trying to write like DC now, rather than trying to write like Marvel Comics in the 90s. It does actually have a whole feel of like somebody in DC Comics higher up than Didio and Lee have turned around to those two and said, look, you're not very good at running a comic book company. You can be the face of DC Comics, but we don't want you to actually touch anything to do with the comics. You can draw, Lee, if you want to, but Didio, no. Let Jeff Jones sort things out, right? He seems to have a brain in his skull, and he seems to know what the fans want. Let him sort out stuff. You two just go in the corner somewhere and just take the paychecks. Simple as that. That's what this feels to me like they've done. They've just turned around to Lee and Didio and said, just go away. Just go. So yes, very excited for DC Comics now. Really looking forward to the rest of the comics of the Rebirth and that coming out. Yeah, that's basically it really. I'm very, very excited as a DC fan to finally see DC Comics producing good comics again. It's great. Yes, I'm going to finish this video now because that's all I've got to show you. If you want to comment on this video, comment section down below. That's what it's there for. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please subscribe. It's the big red button with subscribe on it. You can't miss it. Big and red. You can't miss it. I'm hoping, I know it keeps on fluctuating between 594 and 596. I'm hoping to get 600 subscribers for this channel before the end of the year. I would like thousands, if not millions, but I'm being realistic. And I'm not paying for anybody to subscribe to my channel, so it's simple as that. So yes, subscribe to my channel, please. That'd be awesome of you. If you want to comment, I've said that bit. Like the video, thumbs up. Simple as that. If you didn't like the video, thumbs down. But if you didn't like the video and it brought you to the point where you really had to thumbs down my video, say why you thumbs down my video in the comment section down below. It's as simple as that. You know, you thumbs down my video, there must be a reason for it in the comment section. As simple as that. Yeah, that just leaves me to say thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying DC Rebirth as much as I am, because it is just brilliant. Be nice to each other, because that seems to be something sorely lacking in the comic book community at the moment, for some reason or other. Love the comics that you read, no matter what anybody says. If you're reading it and you're enjoying it, like it and love it. Okay, simple as that. And I will see you very, very soon. Ta-ta for now.